And it all comes down to this one final look at the map, one final episode, one final attempt to just do a little bit more to make the Empire of Kush the dominant power that we're looking for. Last episode, we challenged the Holy Roman Empire, and we also were attacked by some random princedom in Russia, both of whom were claiming our throne for somebody else. It took us a long time, but we managed to knock back both of those places. And now it's sort of time to look and see what we can do that's left. I mean, really, we've got troops, they're trying to get back home, so that we do have that issue out there. But we also have an issue of future wars. We have the Gardezes up here, and they're certainly a potential target. There's threat levels should be pretty high, and you can see the Sultanate of Guj is now pretty much not really a target for us. There's also areas over here in North Africa. I mean, maybe we could potentially go to war with Castile, or at least it would be more likely if indeed there was not this gigantic Giga alliance against us. And you see Castile is also in charge of England again. That family, that dynastic issue has never quite sorted itself out. But Ireland and Scotland have reached their sort of traditional sizes, so that's kind of cool. With Norway as the major power in Scandinavia. And the Byzantines actually mounting something of a comeback. I mean, it may not be particularly noticeable here, but they've looked a lot worse. And for some reason, yeah, we still have Muslim territory on the south bank of the Danube. But, hey, it's not bothering me, and I can't really go grab it. So I'm thinking here in 1447, with only 6 years to go, that we're just going to wait things out and let people rejoin, leave the defensive pact and rejoin the defensive pact. Yeah, I'm not really sure what. Now people are making claims on our territory, and we're going to try to intervene in a. Actually, no, we're going to see if we can make more friends or whatever. And yeah, we got everybody making claims. Maybe they know it's to the end of the game too. And we're going to give the wife the best result that we can. And these guys that we were going to send marching into Russia, and thankfully we're not going to do that now, have made it, or are in the Balkans. They trying to head back down to our territories in northwestern Greece. Territories that one time we were sort of going to build a Greek bridge. Nothing really came to that just because the way that the claims and the available wars sort of worked out. We never did mount that invasion of Greece. We're going to go ahead and adopt the Marshall's ideas, and okay, I think your group of rebels finally got big enough to siege down something, which is not good. But you can see I'm not at war with anybody, so it's not like that. So it's not a foreign power doing that stuff. And from my war with the Holy Roman Empire, I still have a fair amount of prisoners from various places. So I'll also be wanting to get rid of those, as we can manage to do that. All right, the army's back at the uppermost part of our territory. And our marshal was in command of that force. Now he's looking for something to do. This is our old buddy Duke Hughes. Unfortunately, Duke Hughes, at some point in his life, decided to go Miaphysite. I'm kind of looking for good commanders at the moment, so I'm going to ignore that. Okay, the Byzantine Empire can still call upon 30,000 men, and we don't have an active casus belli against him. Plus, he's probably part of the Giga Alliance. All right, we've got more people converting. Trying to figure out if that's because of where I sent my guy here. I'm just looking. Okay, there's got to be something around here we can claim, you know, something interesting. Or something unaligned. See, here's all the things that we can declare war on Constantinople for. But they're mostly just... There we go. We got de jure claim. What's this? Okay, so that would drag in Hungary, and I think Bulgaria was the other one. Honestly, that's not so bad. I thought that I was almost certain that the Byzantine Empire was inside the Giga Alliance. Okay, or we could attack the French. Again, I'm not really interested in things we don't have landholders, you know, in charge of. We could overthrow the French Empire. I mean, that would be mildly amusing. Or we could just, you know, get claim the Atlas Plateau. Spain's kind of looking a little bit weird and carved up. I mean, you know, between myself, although our territory in Spain has actually looks better now than it did when we got here. I mean, it was a little more flattened out, and now at least it's contiguous and all that stuff. No strange fingers kind of poking into it. Well, one problem, the dynasty... Ooh, hold on. We got somebody who could claim the Kingdom of Mali. And Mali is a new kingdom. I mean, they formed fairly recently as part of a dynastic boo-boo or whatever in Castile. I think the Malian royal family is the exact same as the Castilian and English royal family. But no, what the heck? Let's try it, you know? I mean, if we did this, this would allow us to sort of unite all of Africa with the small exception of a few territories held by the French in the northwest. I mean, that would be somewhat amusing. Or if I've read the succession rules wrong, you know, we would just replace the Emperor of Mali. We have a bunch of course, we have great history with the Gardazids here. And so we got claims all over the place that we could potentially use. Again, since they're Muslims, it would probably be easier to do. Oh, well, this is interesting. They are allied to the other Islamic powers. But they're also getting the Eastern Alliance is considering them part of that. I don't know why it's doing that, because I don't. So yeah, potentially going to war with either the Gardazids for yet another time, or the people, or the Sultanate of Kush, could mean war with India. And I really don't know anything about those powers, or how long it would take them to get to the battlefield and be effective. I really think that, you know, of the targets that we could grab, I think Mali kind of makes the most sense. I mean, while everybody's kind of resting up the Giga Alliance, I think this would just be too amusing if we could pull it off. Mali is not de jure part of our empire, but the fact that we have an empire title might allow us to grab it. They're also currently at war with Castile, as you can see with that one county. So we're going to raise the advanced force here. These are the Mauritanian troops, the guys who I guess are from Morocco. And then we're going to have to support them by bringing people across the ocean later. We also have to be careful about troop limits. And we also have to be careful about the Castilians, because we're hostile to them for some reason. Possibly they're on their own claim war for Mali. All right, so it looks like the Castilians are moving, that they've sieged out that area. I don't know where they're going next. They're rebels in Cyprus, like there often are. Not a lot of troops we can raise right at the moment. I wonder what the deal with that is. I thought we had disbanded everybody, but they're, other than our retinue. Well, looks like we're going to have to call on the King of Africa. potentially for reinforcements. And of course, these are the Egyptian reinforcements we can get. Not as big as they have been in the past. Part of that has to do with our relatively recent war, where we sent a bunch of people to fight the Holy Roman Empire, and they ended up, a fair number of them ended up dying either in battle or just because of stupid route making with supply limits. All right. I don't know what the Spanish are doing. But we might just simply have to get rid of them in order to do what we want to do. Oh, somebody wants to get married. Ah, yes, everyone wants to marry Princess Dorico. That's fine. She's not going to, by the end of the game, she probably won't be old enough to get married anyway. Okay. So now the Castilians have gotten out of our way, we're going to send several small forces down into the desert and try to siege out territories belonging to the Kingdom of Mali. I'm not really sure what the capital of Mali is right at the moment. Oh, it's that thing. Okay, I get the feeling that somebody just jumped into this war. Okay. Somebody wants to fight. Oh, it's the Castilians. They had more troops back here. Okay, now they've got, what, 17,000 troops down in the desert? That can't be good for them. Now they've got 11,000. Or did I just misread the number the first time? All right, so I need to keep a block of troops. I need to keep my troops bigger than the Castilian army so that they don't attack me. But there's not a lot of places you can go in the deserts of the Western Sahara and do that kind of stuff. While we're waiting, let's go ahead and usurp the Duchy of Mosul. Of course, I'm not going to keep a hold of that title. I don't need people hating me for the stupid reason of having 3 duchy titles. Instead, we're going to go and give it to our uncle, or not. I'm not sure who controls. Actually, I think you control Mosul, so we'll let you be the Duke of that area. Hey, and he's 18 years old. Maybe we can make friends. Of course, being friends for life at this point means being friends till he's like 23. Isn't really going to make that much of a difference. All right, so now I'm trying to figure out where to find more troops. Now, obviously I haven't raised the Syrian or Persian levies, so we could try doing that. You know, the Egyptian levy wasn't anything. It would be nice. This is the The retinue. We probably need to sail the retinue over to where the actual war is. Yep. Looks like the Castilians are on the move again. Everybody's rejoining the defensive pact. Okay, somebody declared war on the Sultan of Kush. I mean, good luck with that, but Sultan of Kush is not really a pushover for most people. All right, we got another place converted, and in this case it was our court chaplain who did it, so we can go and finally move him somewhere else to proselytize. Just, you know, holes get poked here and there with the Miaphysite faith. I don't know why those things happen. I mean, it doesn't make a ton of sense why they would. Okay. Now our armies are finally doing what they should be doing, which is sieging the kingdom of Mali. I mean, as much as one can siege the part of the area I'm fighting in, should be mostly desert. I mean, these are trade routes. Okay, somebody else is down there. Really, we're going to try to run him off. Oh, we're going to put Raphael Kuda in as our marshal. Getting this close to the end of the game, you know, I'm not really too concerned about having more troops trained up or military stuff studied. So, you know, making an active commander or marshal doesn't bother me. We also need a new master of the hunt, so we'll take care of that. And we do have a commander slot open. And very skilled guys stick there too. So good for us. All right, now we're starting to see some effort here. So, okay. This is interesting. So clearly Castile just reacquired Mali. Now I don't know if they did that because somebody died. But it does mean that I'm now at war with Spain for possession of Mali rather than at war with Mali for Mali. Now I don't know who Spain, I think Castile's got the same royal family. And they may currently be sitting on the throne of England too. I mean, it's not just Mali here in Castile, although Castile in Spain itself is not all that interesting looking. You can see right there, Galicia kind of has their own thing, but our war is still good, so I think we're going to keep doing it. We'll just have to see what well, that's interesting. Oh, okay, we have a sort of evenly matched fight up here. Well, I say evenly matched. Okay, well, we won a battle somewhere else, probably against rebels. Oh, this is not good. We're going to have to pull one or more of our besieging forces out of the south here. Yep. We lost the battle, but we have successfully sieged out another thing. No, I'm not making my court chaplain a commander. I'll stick a warrior bishop in there just because I'm, again, with just a few years left in the game, I'm not really all that worried about, you know, having the best of everything. All right, so we'll send one force up to try to go save our army. I don't know where our army is going to run to. I'm hoping they don't run far. Then the other troops that are over here, I mean, we could send them north because we know that they're organized at least. But we could also make a run at the capital of Mali, or one of these areas that has a higher troop limit here in the south. Okay, the only bad news I saw in that particular blob was that evidently one of my family members got dispossessed, but again, I'm not really that worried about that. All right, so this is the African levy, which I can attempt to use for reinforcements, particularly if Castile decides to start a Spanish front, which is possible. Doesn't have anything to do with the war, but it's possible. All right, so I got to figure out how to get my men back in the right place. You see they're following up their victory over me by trying to re-siege the area that, ironically, they sieged from Mali in the first place. Oh, good. My wife is pregnant. I mean, I'm pretty sure that this king I have right here is going to be the last king that we have. I think his name is Samson. So, yeah, there's clearly things we need to figure out here. So I'm going to send you guys north, and I'm going to let you guys, I've got two groups in the south here attempting to take things in Mali that might be more significant than just sort of these border areas. We got to keep the Duchess of Carcianen in line. And we're going to send the African Legion. We can either send them into Spain or we can send them to Morocco. I'm not really sure which is our better move here, because we currently don't have enough men to do what we want to do in Morocco. But if we could just defeat that Castilian army in the north, that would all change. All right, I think we just captured Timbuktu, which of course makes us Dr. Seuss champions. Yep. Well, it looks like the Castilians have successfully besieged one of their pieces of territory. Now I've got like 8,700 men, and it looks like, ooh, okay, we've besieged out something else. Looks like they're trying to mess with some of my stuff on my border territory in Spain, which in some ways makes more sense. I mean, it's just easier to get to me there. I also don't have a bunch of troops committed to defend that area. Can't call up the Mauritanians to do it. They're busy fighting in Africa. Okay. And the Sicilian levy, for whatever reason, is still not available to me. All right, well, we're going to send more troops over into Morocco. I really want to. I do really think this is where this war is going to be decided. I hope we don't lose too much gold out of Spain. In the meantime, and now we're going to. Oh. We're going to try to use the game's rules to our advantage here, and we're going to try to taxi the Persian levy all the way from Hormuz down the Nile Valley, and then put them on boats on the other side and sail them into the Mediterranean. So that could be exciting, and that certainly would seem like enough troops to sort of settle any issues that we have. We're currently fighting the Castilian army outside of their northernmost territory in the Sahara Desert. Well, okay, their northernmost territory is not the Rif. Got to find a port to unload on up here and see what else is going on. Okay, we're still stuck in battle with the Castilians here. We were doing pretty good, and then peasants revolted in Amida, which had nothing to do with the battle. Looks like they're about to collapse. In fact, I think they are collapsing. Okay. So now we can try to siege these things down again. The only benefit being that because they're further up in next to the Atlas Mountains, there should be a higher supply limit up here. Still a little bit of time before we can expect to see the Persian reinforcements. Oh, I have a new son. Did I need a son? Well, we get the opportunity to name him John, so that, but we're not, unless we murder ourselves, we're not going to have the opportunity to end the game with John the Presbyter as we started the game. You know, after the old legend. For some reason, I think the Galatians are sieging down stuff of mine, but they're considered neutral. I'm not really sure what the deal with that is. Really looking forward to getting some of this stuff down here. Yep, there we go, like Baalbek. Okay, here's the next Castilian army. Hey, I was wrong. Princess Dorico did come of age before the game ended. Well, I guess she's going to have to marry that guy after all, assuming he's not really young. So yeah, now I've got an army theoretically going after the Castilian capital. Not really sure where that is. I think it would be Toledo, but because I'm not really sure what Castile controls and what I control. I mean, it very well could be that I control Toledo or Madrid, and okay, they're running somewhere, possibly to the territory that I sieged out already. Need to make a move on, so I'm going to take a bit of a risk here and deploy my men south. Okay, we fought a battle. We sieged out Valladolid, which... Oh, okay. Enforce our demands. Excellent. And the reward is... Oh no. A free and independent Mali, but one that's not quite as big as I was expecting. It also didn't end up under my control, which is what I was also hoping for. You can also see that based on the way things got drawn, there's the lady whose claim we backed. Of course, we didn't land her at all. Somehow she has a small part of the bottom of modern Portugal there. I guess I should give her credit for not dying. But, you know, I've seen these situations, and unfortunately, they don't really want to vassalize. So, you know, points for liberating Africa. Oh, and to make things really messed up, she's also Miaphysite. But, you know, there's nothing we can do about that now. Unfortunately, that was sort of our one attempt to go to war without messing with the Giga Alliance. So now if there's going to be any war that's going to happen in the last 3 years of the game, it's going to have to happen against a substantial number of people. You know, we also are going to have to get our guys down here back out of Western Africa. I should also probably stop sieging the Castilian capital. But yeah, no, just the way it works out sometimes. I guess just can't win them all, or at least, you know, can't help winning for the losing kind of thing. But, you know, I just, she really likes us, you know, I mean, I guess she should. We did give her a kingdom at age 61 with a really old husband and a 35-year-old son of dubious worth, and we got a fair amount of either retinues or civil wars going on. We need to get, and we got, yep, and there's the Persian levy. Just in time for it to be disbanded and go back home. Unfortunately, I can't declare war on her. I don't. Okay, it looks like things are cleaning up. The armies seem to have gone away. We've got, oh yeah, I forgot, we've got Spanish prisoners that we need to exchange. At the same time, might be people that we need to get back. I'm not worried about bards this late in the game. And turns out he wasn't bad. Yay for us. Okay, so we need to go and do that. And we're still waiting for our 2 expeditionary forces to come back. They're almost back. All right. King Samson has lost the trait Craven, which is good. Should make him, should give him a slightly better martial rating. Oh, got some more conversions going on. Of course, now our marshal isn't doing anything because he's not commanding troops in the field, so let's go train some troops somewhere. Don't worry, boys. You'll get home sometime. Okay. I think we just lost the siege to the rebels. At least I hope that's what's going on here. I mean, it does appear that the Mauritanians are fighting the Galatians for something. And normally I'd support that. But, you know, watching them probably lose this battle right here is not making me feel all that happy for them. I'm trying to go and find people who don't belong to the same court to ransom so that I can do it quicker. And freeing people who've been around for a while who don't seem to have any monetary value. All right, picked up some martial score. It's just so much easier to do, you know, and also just never liked having a full jail. I mean, I'm not really sure the benefits of, or difficulties of having too many prisoners. I mean, other than they can't do stuff while they're in prison. All right, well, it looks like the Mauritanians have reinforced. Let's... Okay. All right, now we can... Oh yeah, we have to be careful. One of these armies might be our retinue army. Which brings up a good point. Where would we want the retinue army to go? Because, you know, I'm not really sure here in September of 1450 where exactly we would be attacking next. I mean, logically, I guess Isfahan would make sense. I mean, it's right there in sort of the crux of things. The Giga Alliance is reformed at this point. The Muslim Pact is, on the other hand, relatively small, although they seem to be getting supplemented by the Eastern Pact. Yeah, see, here's the Christian Defense Pact against me. And so you can tell they're real scared. Even Queen Jimena of Mali has joined, and we put her in power. All right, we'll still see. They got 10,000 Mauritanians marching, maybe to their doom, maybe not. Can't really do anything interesting over here. Okay, let's... Well, now the Queen of Mali is at war with a bunch of people. She joined our empire. I'm not really sure there would have been anybody for her to fight. All right, now we need to get... I guess we're just going to send the retinue army back to home base. Just get the central part of the map figured out. Let's go stick another commander in here, or stick some commanders in here, just so that if war comes, we'll be ready wherever that army goes. Maybe they can go fight the Cypriots. I mean, yeah, Cypriot rebels gets old. I mean, it really does. Particularly when you see it for like 500 years. Okay, well, I didn't see it for 500 years because I've only got the 1066 start date, but you get the point. Now, it looks like more wars have been declared. I think that's the Duchy of Palmyra's banner there in the middle, the green one. What do you know? She got married before the end of the game after all. I also see that Syria has a bunch of troops over there. Now, Syria had an alliance with Persia at one point. So that could be what's going on right now. Or they could be fighting their own war. Oh, good. Heretic friend. Probably can't end well. Oh, yeah. Good old me. I sort of lost track that we called a grand tournament. I don't know necessarily if grand tournaments are all that particularly useful. I think that prestige is probably not as useful as I've made it out to be. Particularly since my marshal just got wounded in my tournament. But a lot of people, I find a lot of people get killed in tournaments. I think they set you up thinking tournaments are okay, but with the first one being relatively minor in killing. Yeah, everybody's getting wounded. All right, so now we've landed in Cyprus. We can try to take care of those daggum rebels. We do outnumber the rebels, but they are defending in should be fairly hilly terrain. And we got off the boat not all that long ago. But that doesn't, don't listen to me. Okay, well, we defeated the rebels. But now our problem is that I think we may have to siege out what they took. It can be kind of annoying. Looks to me like the Persians have been pretty busy over here. Along with the Syrians. Not sure what the Syrians are sieging out at the moment. Possibly some random holding that still belongs to the Gardazids. Our tech looks pretty good, I think. Possibly if we'd not... Oh yeah, well, we can try to go for max crown authority, but what the heck. 2 years. Well, that's interesting. We do the special response. I don't think I chose the special response though. All right, getting rid of all those daggum pop-ups. Right, still a few prisoners left. Let's go ahead and dump them since the game is going to end soon anyway. All right, Cyprus is cleaned up. Now we can get back on the boat and send the boat somewhere else. Probably somewhere connected to more land. I'm pretty sure if we send the retinue army anywhere, it's going to be to the east. I mean, you know, Mesopotamia would be a decent target. Okay, I don't know what Sicilians are doing down there. Also see that the Mauritanians have local military superiority over the Galatians again. I'm not sure what that's going to get them either. They they may not know. All right, we won a battle. I'm thinking we're fighting rebels. Not a ton I can do here. I do like to see the Mauritanians driving the Galatians back. I mean, that's nice. And my chancellor basically lives in the court of the king of Egypt. Because I still feel like that's the best place for him to be. And I've seen this title change hands several times. Now my emperor is Samson the Fat. 33 years old, not likely to die in the next little while here. Now we got money, might as well use it to get better likability. You know, just pay people to like you. That's how that works, right? Sadly, sometimes it is. Aha! We've done a little bit of expansion after all. There we go. We poked our finger into Galicia, although it looks like we poked our finger into Castile. We now control the territory separating Castile from itself. There are Castilian troops in our borders for some reason, but not really worried about that. I think we lost a war, or maybe two, to the claim going away. But again, these aren't wars that I was fighting. These are wars that other people were fighting. You know, we're just going to use all this gold to make people happy. Like the Duke of Athens and the Duke of Salerno. But who knows? If they're happy, maybe they'll vote for me to actually get absolute power before this game ends. Just because it'd be something neat to do. I've played 2 games, or sorry, I played 3 games where I reached Empire status, and in none of those games have I actually been able to do Imperial, the Imperial rule things. Alright, so I see the Persians operating in the Syrian territory. Oh, well, okay. Giving him money doesn't give me much of anything. Oh. Why don't you become Catholic while we're at it? I don't really want the King of Persia being my Ephesite. At one time, that guy was my heir. This gives you an idea of how long it's been between the times that I've actually recorded commentary for this. All right. This is the son of the French guy who I stuck out to rule basically Afghanistan. Here's the Duchess of Carcianan. I don't think she's caused me a bunch of trouble, and God, I forgot I had the Duke of Colonnea here, who unfortunately, Mr. Duke of Colonnea, you're me Ephesite. You need to stop doing that. All right, part of Cyprus is converted to Catholicism, so that's good. We're just a few months away at this point. So I'm thinking that there will be no more wars. Sadness. We're just going to ask everybody, we're just going to give everybody money and ask everybody to convert who hasn't converted. And so that minor Spanish county in the west likely be the last military conquest that we make. I have no idea what just happened or what it had to do with me, because it seemed like everybody involved was French. Well, looks like the wife found some time to get pregnant here, about 3 months to go. So unfortunately that baby will not be born before the end of the game. And you just sort of watch the time run and look at the size of our empire. I mean, this is, granted, it looks more impressive with the fact the Sahara Desert is in our color. But yeah, we conquered all of the ancient kingdom of Kush. We conquered Egypt. We received Jerusalem. And then we expanded into Arabia and Syria and Persia, not necessarily in that order. Went down the North African up the North African coast, inherited land in Spain, southern Italy, parts of Greece, and you see the Miaphysite fingerprints still on parts of the kingdom. We have our super vassal, the king of Egypt, who's also the king of Ethiopia and the king of Yemen, which I don't understand. I think it's purely a titular title. He doesn't even control most of that area. but been very useful guy. We used crusading to advance the kingdom. You know, we got Jerusalem that way, Syria that way. And so, you know, we can look now back at all the John the Presbyters that there were, and you know, and starting just in the Mercuria, and there was King John the Blessed, who became the king of is the guy who became the king of Jerusalem. Then there was another King John the Blessed who just wasn't quite long-lived enough. Genatius the Unready, our first non-John character. And then our next big character, John the Just, of course, who formed the Empire of Kush. And then our kingdom got a little bit multiracial, still culturally Nubian the entire time, but you know, we had Emperor John II, who, you know, spent the early part of his life as a court chaplain in Sicily. You know, Cyprus added to the empire at that point. Zacharias, again, looking more European than African. Raphael Kuda, also kind of doing that way. John the Hunter, a little bit darker, but not quite. Not quite what we were going for, but again, successful rulers. That was Raphael Kuda is the period of time where we temporarily lost the Kingdom of Nubia title, had to usurp it back from the Egyptians. Then Emperor John the Great, who went out and expanded the empire into Syria and also into Turkey. There are places that he wasn't our last great ruler. We had a pair of really good ones. I mean, not Emperor John V, not really what I was concerned about, but Emperor John V also restored sort of the native Africanness to the royal family portrait. And his son, and his successors, Theodosius and Matthias, were pretty successful. And you know, King Samson the Fat, we just never saw how it ended. I mean, you know, we just don't know. He was hale, hardy. He'd gotten rid of his craven trait. If he had had time to actually wait out some of these gig alliances, he might have expanded the kingdom in his own way, instead of just sort of eating the scraps. There was a lot of sort of scrap eating. I mean, in those later periods of time, we were very fortunate, you know, that there were crusades that were called against Persia, and then one against Iraq. Earlier than that, one against, I think, Syria. But that allowed us to keep expanding despite the existence of the Gig Alliance for most of the game, or at least most of the game that I remember at this point, since we're, you know, so many episodes in and whatnot. But you know, for most of it was kind of it was a neat thing to sort of make Kush great again, and of course expand it in ways that the old kings of Kush would never have thought to do. So that kind of leaves us to whatever the next challenge will be. And I'm not sure what my next Crusaders Kings series is going to be. It's going to be a while in the future. It's not going to be right around the corner. And I've been pretty bad about uploading things on a regular basis anyway. So for right now, I think you're going to see more Marvel stuff, more Gundam stuff, just so I can get that stuff out of my folders. And maybe some of you have crossover interest in that, but when I do come back to Crusader Kings 2, I do want to try to recreate the Roman Empire using the Roman DLC. And there are sort of places I'd love to play from. I'd like to do a campaign in France. I'd like to do a campaign from Morocco. You know, we just have to see how that goes. But for right now, I think this more than 90 minutes worth of finale, even though it's a rather anticlimactic finale. I mean, you know, it's just our attempt to take over Mali that was never really going to work because of the inheritance rules, and otherwise just sort of writing things out. But with that said, I look forward to seeing you guys in the next adventure, whenever, wherever that may be.